Well, the thread is still alive, so I'll do one more green text. This story isn't about something I went through but rather my older brother. I'll just jump into it. Be my brother. Real good guy but gets involved with some nasty stuff in his life. Since 16 he has always had a firearm of some kind holstered on his hip. Once got suspended for beating a kid half to death for harassing my sister. This started a little over a year ago after our aunt died. She was pretty eccentric and never managed to marry. My brother and I were tasked with cleaning out her house so we could sell it. There was always a rumor she owned a spell book or grimoire. I'm not sure what the difference is between them, so we kept a special eye out for any old-looking book. As we got towards the last of the boxes, we found one with a note attached to it. It was addressed to our grandmother, who in our aunt's years ended up being her last and only real friend. The note was addressed to her, and it asked for our Nana to dispose of what was in the box and asking her not to judge her. I guess she wanted to get rid of the stuff herself, but had some attachment to all the stuff in there that prevented her from doing it. My Nana was too old to help us clean the house, so my brother and I opened it. Inside was tons of taboo items, from old KKK medallions to crystal balls. There was also the book that had to be the book everyone was talking about. It was old and used looking. The symbols, while worn, were still visible on the cover. In the middle of the cover was a white stone which I had assumed to be quartz, surrounded by symbols which looked like something out of a video game. The box was all pretty shocking, and while we wanted to carry out our aunt's wishes, we both decided to take something out of the box to keep. I ended up taking a chipped crystal ball, pick related, while my older brother took the book. Almost right away within the first week things seemed a bit off. Our youngest brother always tended to yell and walk in his sleep, but almost every night we'd catch him running around at night. We just assumed he was staying up late fucking around, but he seemed like he was in a trance when confronted. My older brother seemed to carry it around with him everywhere, flipping through the pages. He became paranoid and would get spooked easily. After about a month, he told me he would get rid of the book at the dump. At least for me, it seemed like he put it off for a month but managed to get rid of it about a month later. I heard a different story a while later from his best friend one New Year's Eve when the two of them got blackout drunk. Apparently my brother did take it to the dump when he said he did, but it found it the next morning on his desk. Understandably freaked out, he brought it to our local church, who said they'd take care of it. But like the last time, it was right on his desk the next morning. He ended up throwing it away some more, giving it to a local Jehovah's Witnesses compound, and even burned it, but it always came back to the same spot. He had been planning a road trip, his best friend, where they'd travel cross-country on bike for a while now, and decided he'd try to ditch it in the desert. I'm not sure why he decided to do it, but I guess it made sense to him. They'd camp out on the side of the road or stay in motels as they traveled, and his friend told me every night he could hear my brother whispering to the book. My brother was just conscious enough to have a look on his face, concern in his face as I listened along. Unfortunately, past the book and ball, we got rid of all the stuff that day as was requested. As they entered Nevada, my older brother fell off his bike. While he was okay, his bike was a bit roughed up and they decided to camp out on the side of the road for the night. As the sun began to set, a big bull started to approach them. The road ran alongside a fenced-in farm field, so it wouldn't be able to get to them. Still, having a huge animal staring at you as the sun went down was unsettling for them. They decided to try to fix the bike on the spot and go to a motel in the night. The bull was covered in scars and the friend swore he couldn't see its pupils. Eventually they managed to get the bike started again. As they were hopping on their bike, the cow spoke. He said it was as if someone tried to speak while inhaling. He didn't understand a word coming from its mouth, but whatever it said left my brother pale. Out of the blue my brother unloaded his gun on the cow, followed by the friend following suite. The cow ran off and without a word they continued onward. The sound of my brother speaking in the night grew louder, and whether they were outside or in a motel he could swear he saw shadows moving around in the dark. Eventually they stopped in the middle of desert in New Mexico. My brother threw it on the ground and spit on it. As if it came from nowhere, a bull appeared out of the heat waves and yet again. It slowly came towards them, staring at them with blank white eyes. At his wit's end, my brother kicked the book farther into the desert and shot a hole right through it. A red liquid, like blood, oozed out of the hole and it flipped itself open. The book and cow burst into flames. The cow continued to approach them regardless. It turned its head to the friend, then to my brother and again spoke something unintelligible. The book and cow seemed to crumble to ash not too long after. The two of them eventually returned home, and my friend said my brother never spoke of having issues with the book. I had also noticed not too long after that my brother returned to his normal self.